Guys, we got another video. So this is what if Goten was, well, a training maniac. Now in this version, Goten, when he's born, he already loves to train. Every day he tries throwing punches, and Gohan's kind of breaking his habit of training since he's doing it for a little while, but after 2 years he kind of tries to stop. But he isn't allowed to, since at this point there's a 2-year-old Goten who is more than willing to beat the living shit out of his older brother. Thing is, at this point, Goten, even only at 2, has already unlocked Super Saiyan, since all he does is, well, train. His mom is kind of concerned, but he said he didn't want to be a scholar or any of that shit. He wanted to be like his father. Kind of scaring her, saying, "What do you mean like your father? I want to be strong. I want to be the strongest. I want to be the one who protects the earth when everyone else can't." Hearing this, Chi-Chi's kind of proud. She sees her son just like his father was so many years ago. This does mean that she kind of supports it. And surprisingly enough, Bulma announces she has another kid on the way, even though she just had Trunks, only around a few years back. It was because there's a 2-year difference between Trunks and Bulla. Or Bra, whatever her name is. But it's going to be called Bulla in this version. So yeah, Bulla is actually training all the way. Not really all that good, but even though she's only 1, she really cares about her family. And because she always sees Goten and Trunks playing when they're younger. But we're going to fast forward, since, I'm going to say there's still 5 years until, Goku would come back. But in this version, in those 5 years, but right before they start, there's a promise made by Gohan. I'll tell you what, if you can get Super Saiyan 2 by the time you've reached age 7, once you're 7 years old, if you've got Super Saiyan 2, then I'll make you a deal. You can take over. You can force me to train. Until then, I'll only train whenever I feel like it. Still training moderately, but not like a crazy little amount. So he trains more than he did in canon, at least, and Gohan's always stuck dealing with Goten wanting to train with him. Although, Gohan can fly, that's something Goten hasn't yet learned to do. And because in canon, Goten couldn't fly, I'm not going to make it where he can instantly fly here either. He uses the Nimbus. And Gohan flies, that's it. This is where, surprisingly enough, Vegeta would actually ask for a sparring session between Gohan and himself. This is when Goten said, I want to join. Vegeta saying, "Kid, I don't think you can." What the fuck? As he sees a 3-year-old Goten in Super Saiyan, something that he only dreamed about being able to go into Super Saiyan. He knows his own son at 4 years old can't even fucking do it. He's kind of pissed off at this, saying, "Oh, we can train." But he also knows his daughter is closer to being able to do it than anyone else. And that's because, other than this, she had the most, I'm going to call them S cells, which is what lets Saiyans turn into their forms. Into Super Saiyan and transform like that shit. Thing is, you need to have at least, I'm going to say 50% S cells to go into Super Saiyan 3. And you can build more S cells, but you lose some with your tail removed. Now, being that Bulma did tests on Saiyan biology and how they were given more potential, but they were also given less ability for that. And surprisingly enough, the females wouldn't have as much chance of going into Super Saiyan. At least that's what should have happened. All of our tests directly coded to that. The older Saiyan male gets, the weaker their kid's potential spike would be. Thing is, there's a problem with that. It also reckons that the stronger the Saiyan male, the stronger their child would be. Thinking that this would make a little sense, but it'd be pretty weird, she does a few tests, and this is when her daughter, who at the age of, 2, is able to fight, and already has a crush on Goten. If y'all can tell what I'm doing with this, mainly based off the fucking picture, because she's really not that much younger than Goten, only about a year. As Goten had actually made her a deal. When she could reach Super Saiyan 2, he would actually go out with her. Vegeta saying, "Over my dead body." Thing is, a 3-year-old is strong enough to keep up with him in a fight in Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan. Vegeta can go into Super Saiyan 2. Trunks is learning how to go into Super Saiyan, and he actually goes into it not too long after seeing Goten go into it. They've trained, and I'm going to skip around a few years. So there's around 1 year left on the deal. Gohan's kind of smirking because the Goten cannot go into Super Saiyan 2 yet. Gohan hasn't taught him how to do it. Vegeta has not taught him how to do it. The only way you can obtain it is by sheer fucking rage, which Vegeta only had whenever he thought his family was truly in danger. That, or you just are that much more powerful, and you've mastered Super Saiyan perfectly. And thing is, you also need rage to amp it up anyway. Thing is, Goten's never gone through that kind of rage. Neither has Trunks or Bulla. So they're probably not going to get Super Saiyan 2. At least that's what Gohan thought. When a very pissed off one day Goten would have said something saying, "Brother, I beat our deal." "Why you look so pissed off, Goten?" "Something happened to Bulla." "What? What is Vegeta gonna do when he finds out he already found her? What happened?" This is when Goten would start to say how she couldn't keep up with him. She was, on his back so she could ride the Nimbus since, Trunks figured out how to fly, but Goten didn't. And Bulla didn't quite know how either, so she was on his back while they were in on the Nimbus. This is when some stray ki blasts hit them. And they were attacked by this guy, and Goten actually thought that, he honestly thought that that Bulla was injured. She didn't have a ki bear or anything. He had his own, but he tried protecting them both, but he wasn't sure if it worked. So he was completely pissed off, hit Super Saiyan 2 enraged, and started beating the living shit out of the person who shot the beam. Fucked up fact, the one who shot the beam was actually... they were actually Tao Pai Pai, who does exist. We know this because, in the Cell Saga, he was shitting himself saying Gohan and Trunks. Not Gohan and Trunks. Gohan and Goten and Goku. And if you're thinking I'm lying, I'm actually telling the truth. That actually happened in the actual series. So in this version, hearing this saying, "Wow, that sounds kind of crazy. But is she alright?" This is when Vegeta would be kind of smirking, saying she's completely fine. Since they flew there right afterwards, Chi-Chi having to have her sons hold her while she's there since she can't fly. And she can't technically use the Nimbus. She's not pure-hearted. Well, if you're wondering, you'd expect Chi-Chi to be pure-hearted, but she's not. Goku is. Chi-Chi is not so much. We all know this because it's Dragon Ball itself. She couldn't even stand on the damn thing. Her heart was not pure, so it wasn't allowing it. Now, if you want to go with the whole thing about those other Saiyans are pure, since yada yada yada, yeah, we can go with that, but they weren't exactly the purest beings in existence. They were pure to Saiyan standards. They were pure-hearted, yes, which Goku was the purest. Anyway, back to What If. Now, this is when, hearing what happened to his sister, Trunks would roar out in rage. And this is when Super Saiyan 2 would appear on him. And wondering if Goten is alright since she saw him tank the blast. The large blast that would have hit them both. He tanked mainly of it as they both fell out of the cloud. He did his best to protect her while she passed out, hoping he was alright. This would make it where even she would unlock a certain variation of Super Saiyan 2. Though it isn't the full Super Saiyan 2, she's got to the point where she can spark into it and out of it. Gohan saying, "Fine, you win. We'll train together more often, little bro." At this point, Gohan is actually kind of forgetting how to use his own Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Though he starts training with Goten and with Vegeta. This allows him to get the Super Saiyan 2 transformation down to a T. Gohan hasn't quite mastered it, but he's right next to Vegeta on that one. They're both at the edge of mastering it, while Goten is so close to it that he can taste it. Goten is barely weaker than Vegeta, and Vegeta and Gohan are about the same exact strength. while Trunks is far weaker, and Bulla is around the same as her older brother. Though, admittingly, Trunks is better when he has a weapon in his hand. He's best with ki, while Gohan's best with strength, and technique goes to Bulla. That's what we're going with. She's also by far the smartest, so she makes inventions. She even has a suit that can suck ki out of people. Basically, it can take a lot of ki and then shoot it as if it was a giant blast. Basically doing the same thing that the androids, the same thing Dr. Giro's android and I think 19 were able to do, which was a struggle for Bulma to figure that out again, saying, alright, been a long time, but I got it. Since Bulla was the one who did it, she was impressed they had to work together to make this machine. Bulma wondered, does this make it where she could use the ki? This is when Vegeta started stating, alright, Gohan, work as basically an energy, as a battery for this, okay? Gohan not really minding, using his full Super Saiyan 2 transformation, so he has enough ki. At this point, Bulma just can't hit Vegeta. It's just too difficult. As Bulla, who started blasting ki blasts out of her own hand, trying to hit her father as well, noting he's far too fast in his Super Saiyan 2. This is when they had an idea. A ki struggle. Would it work best for that? Gohan, who had basically said, goten. Yeah? Come here. Having him basically be the battery this time while he had recovered his strength in case this ki struggle went south. Vegeta and, surprisingly enough, Bulma have their ki struggle, noting that while Vegeta was holding back, only so it would even out with the strength that they're putting out, this is when they all put their power together in there. That being, Goten and Bulla. This actually overwhelms Vegeta, who wound up getting blasted backwards and getting knocked out of his power. Saying, good job, it worked. But it's only good for a ki struggle. This is when they have an idea. What if they make it more along the same speed as whoever wields it? Explain. So they made a suit and actually tested it on the three strongest humans. Even testing a little bit of it on Piccolo, noting how he was actually the only one who can keep up with Super Saiyan 2 in base form. And in this version, Piccolo learned Kaioken from Goku. Nah, he wouldn't learn that, but he would want to learn it. Though he would figure out it's too dangerous for anyone other than Saiyans and Namekians. So, surprisingly enough, those suits worked perfectly for the humans. Didn't really work great for Piccolo since he was already around the same strength as them, and just absorbing other people's ki wasn't his real deal. But back to the what if. So, in this version, we're going to now skip, Gohan being in high school. Now, he transfers in the same day, and this is when it's all about the Golden Warrior. In this version, Gohan doesn't hide who he is. Admittingly, he does have his own fighting clothes, but that's just his own style. Goku and Vegeta have their style about the blue and orange. Gohan decided to go with something green. That's because he has a pitch black spandex suit, or whatever looks like it. Same thing as Vegeta looking, but with pitch black, and a complete green suit with a big belt. And Trunks at this point already wields a sword. He prefers wielding a blade that he can just put ki into to make it where it's an even fight. Looking a lot more like future Trunks than he would in the other timeline, in this timeline. Even looking, nah, they wouldn't look like that yet. Since Goten has done nothing but train, he's not afraid when he sees his father for the first time. He talks to him as if they were fighting companions. And first thing they do as a father-son thing is spar. Goten even going into Super Saiyan 2 against his father, matching power to power with him in Super Saiyan. But Goku, noting Super Saiyan alone wouldn't be enough, using Super Saiyan 2 himself to even out his power with his son. Makes him a little bit stronger, but not by much. He was very proud of his son, since they both put each other to the edge, and ate a senzu bean afterwards. This is when Vegeta would say he wanted his rematch to Kakarot. Goku saying, don't worry, you'll get it. But back to the what if. Now we go over to whenever, they actually are having the fight. In this version, Videl really likes Gohan, and Gohan knows it, and he likes her too. Since the first thing that they did when they met, after, she figured it out, he said, tell everyone, I don't give a fuck. Just know if you do, I'm walking right up to your fucking dad and beating his ass. This is when she started laughing, saying, Mr. Satan couldn't be taken out by someone of your strength. Really? Want to bet? As he shows his full power and says, I'm the one who killed Cell. And this is when, surprisingly enough, she would go over and ask her dad, did he kill Cell? Her father yelling, yes, I did. I was the only one who did it. This is when she claimed that some boy from her class claimed he was the one who did it. He said, let me at him, I'll show him who's boss. Well, that's it. He's outside. No, he's not. Seeing Gohan standing there saying, really? Who's boss? Hercule. Because last time I checked, you were cowering like a little bitch while I fought Cell. Yeah? Don't get quiet now, motherfucker. Come on. Come on, you want to show me who's boss? Come here. Mr. Satan trying to run away while Gohan's chasing his ass down in Super Saiyan 2. In Super Saiyan 2, you're very much more fucked up. Like, in Super Saiyan base, you'll still be yourself. In 1, you'll be way scarier. Just by a little bit. 2, it's kind of mean. In 3, you just don't give a fuck. And in 4, you're way ruder. You're monstrous. The thing is, that's it. But back to what if. As Goku shows something he wasn't expecting to have to use. We're going to go over to the, Buu fight. In this version, Goten's actually got a hand in the rock, paper, scissors match on who's going to fight who. This is when Goku and, Vegeta would still fight. Since Vegeta still let himself get Majin signed, sure, he does care about his family, but this version letting him do it since he wanted to fight with Goku, not some kids. Goku having to use Super Saiyan 3, outclassing Vegeta at every turn when he did. And actually defeating Vegeta. Though this was enough power to easily let Majin Buu out. But in this version, Gohan said, this guy. And even scared, since he's about to go swinging, when his younger brother comes out in Super Saiyan 2 with him, they go together and start swinging at Buu. And they're doing a lot fucking more damage. Like, they're dealing a few good haymakers. This is when Gohan actually decided to do something he wasn't planning. While Vegeta wasn't knocked out, but he was defeated. As this is when Vegeta decided what he had to do to get rid of Buu. He yelled, Kakarot, get back. Knocking his own son out. In this version, going to knock Goten out, saying, Goten, get out of here. I'm not even going to waste the energy on knocking you out. I have to go stop Buu. You can't. I already tried. I'm not strong enough myself. Me and Gohan both at Super Saiyan 2 couldn't even land a finger on him. Are you really telling me the truth? And you've been getting your ass beat by him too. Since this is after, Vegeta was getting dog walked and put down while he was getting his ass whooped. And we're going to skip past the entire, saga of that, since it really doesn't go any different. I mean, sure, when the Gotenks thing happened, there's a little bit more of a struggle, since Bull actually had to give her own energy to her brother so they could match up. And this would almost make it look even to go to Vegeta, which Kid Buu was the only one who was a real threat. And that still had to be taken out by the Spirit Bomb. Though in this version it was fuck tons stronger. But back to what if. This is when Goten would decide something, he wouldn't be weak. So for the next 4 years, he's grown up to looking a little bit more like this, but not completely. So they went from 6, 7, and 8 to 10, 11, and 12. And at this point, Bulla, who is able to go into Super Saiyan 2, had basically said, you have to hold your end of the bargain, Goten. Goten's saying, I accept it. Let's go. Them starting to date, Trunks kind of hating that he just lost his best friend. But he didn't technically lose his best friend, since now Goten's around there a lot more. He'll train with Trunks and hang out with Bulla. Bulla, who wants to train it sometimes, Goten starts laughing, saying, hey, Trunks, come here. Trunks saying, yeah, what's up? Come on. What do you do, me and you, versus your father and sister? Are you fucking an idiot? How is this fair? We're gonna fuse, and it's gonna be a 2 1v1. Alright. At this point, Vegeta getting so much stronger between the break. At this point, Goten, who's actually standing at a better height. They both look a little bit more like this, though with a sword on Trunks' back. But that's the main difference. That's the only difference they have. Trunks wields a sword, and Gohan doesn't use a weapon. He's a bare-knuckle fighter. So, yeah. While they were still best friends. From this point, we're using this picture since I think it just fits best. So, yeah. Their ages don't quite make them look like this. They look more like this, but not crazy, like powerhouses levels of strength right now. So Gohan is able to go into Super Saiyan 2. He's training to get Super Saiyan 3. Like, everyone knows this. Like, they've seen Goten training to get Super Saiyan 3, and he struggles as shit, but he's making it power enough. Gohan saying, you may as well forget it, little bro. No, you have your ultimate form that's able to keep up with Super Saiyan 3. Vegeta's better off in speed, because Super Saiyan 3 is mainly a bulky form. But still, I'm better off having something other than Super Saiyan 2 to back my ass up. They train to the point where they're actually almost at a dead stalemate. And now, Goten, who looks way more like Teen Gohan than he did himself in canon, well, he was older than that. He's 11. Even at the age of 11, he's not a small kid. He looks just like Teen Gohan's size, and he's a little bit taller than that, with a lot more power. Back his punches up. Now I'm talking about little man power, I'm talking about beast of a swing. Every punch smacks around anyone. Goku, who's still revived after the Buu saga, so for the past few years they've been training. Piccolo would learn Kaioken to basically even out the battlefield. He can go into Kaioken times 50 as his normal thing to do. Although he admitted that is when he actually has to keep himself up at an even level with someone who has the power of Super Saiyan 3. I mean, Gotenks is still a thing, but facing it, when Gotenks happens, it's not the same Gotenks. It's a very much holding back Goten in Super Saiyan 2, while Trunks is in Super Saiyan 2 putting everything he has into it for them doing the fusion dance. Though this does make it where Super Saiyan 3 is far more obtainable, this is when, surprise, surprise, about a year would pass while training. Goten would decide to go into the Supreme Spirit in Time and train. Bulla and Trunks wanted to go in there too, so they make a choice. If Goten goes in there by himself, which you actually would still need a partner, so Gohan was kind of thinking if he should go in there, but it wound up being the person to go in there with him was actually Krillin. And if you're wondering why the fuck would Krillin go in there, he has a day off. A full, day. So, when he would usually wake up for work is when he goes in there with Goten, who is around his same size, and they start training and Goten just trying to get as much power on him as possible. Vegeta and Goku go in right after that. This is when Bulla and Trunks would go in there after, and they come out looking a lot stronger than they would even in GT. At this point, stating how we would hear how, Trunks is on the level, not quite perfect at it, but he's able to do Super Saiyan 3. Goten noting he can go into it as well. Bulla noting her Super Saiyan 2 was completely mastered, and going into Super Saiyan 3 was a struggle, but she could somewhat go into it. And this is when they found something out. Goku stating that he has mastered Super Saiyan 3. Vegeta saying how he's gone into it, but he doesn't prefer it. As Goku started stating how if they had their tails, it would be perfect. What do you mean? Every time I try powering up to my next transformation possible, my tail will start to grow back. I stop because it takes a lot of energy to do that. Wait, Kakarot, I have an idea. As they strap Goku to a rock, and because they all still have a somewhat stub of a tail left, they tear out their tails back out. Which I'm going to say is something they can do if they've reached that power in Super Saiyan 3. Which they kind of have to all be in Super Saiyan 3 to use it. And they use all this, and they're actually able to tear a Super Saiyan. They're all able to tear their tail out. Goku, who kind of just tucks it in around his gi. Vegeta uses it like a belt. Goten decides to just kind of hide it around his waist. Bulla, who thinks it looks like a fashion designer belt, so wears it like that. Trunks, who already has a belt, so he decides to just cover it with put it in his shirt. Bring around his stomach. Gohan, who doesn't know what a tail would look like for his thing, so he winds up wrapping it around his leg, surprisingly enough. And they've kind of all had an idea. What if we try mastering the Ozaru? But they do it at night. And this is when, surprisingly enough, they would just stand there. All going into Ozaru form, Vegeta yelling out, "Stop!" in almost an authoritative tone, saying, "You will learn how to control it." After a few days would pass of them trying to figure it out, they decide not to. Eat a sensu bean. Vegeta and Goku, they can somewhat control it, and they can think and speak to people in there, but not as easy as they could. Vegeta's doing it the way he was in Dragon Ball Z. He's got perfect control over it. Goku can talk to people, but is struggling not to beat the shit out of people. Goten, noting whenever he's into it, he's more of a rage-filled, but not fully. Now, Vegeta, who basically was called back into it when he went into Super Saiyan into it when he was pissed off, saying, "None of you are learning!" Roaring out learning, as he would go into Super Saiyan 3, in Ozaru form. As they noted it was a golden Ozaru, Goku wondering if he could do the same, but noting Vegeta was out of control. And simple Super Saiyan 3 would just get his ass whooped. So he had to use Super Saiyan 2 on his Ozaru form, as Vegeta was actually called out by his kids saying, "Dad!" This being all it took for them to hear, "Kids," in a more beastly voice, as Vegeta started to shrink down, thinking, is he going back into human? Wait, he looks like he's covered in fur with long hair. What's this form gonna be called? Goku's thinking, well, that's Super Saiyan 4. Perfect, Kakarot. Goku trying to do the same thing, but whenever he's called by his kids, it damn near works. Still some barely working, as he goes into it as well, noting it was so difficult to use. Gohan saying, "Let me." Trying to use his more calm and kind head to do it. And it allows him to somewhat try to do it. He starts shrinking down, but he was only able to keep it for a few seconds, as that's when his brother would say, "You can do it! Do it! Do it!" Getting a Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. Goten and Trunks trying to see if they could do it. They try. His father roaring out, "You can do it!" And their siblings roaring out, "They can do it," is when their eyes turn and they try going into Super Saiyan 4. Bulla knows when she's in Super Saiyan 4, it's a struggle to stay on it, but she can do it. As she passes out of that form and hits the ground. They figure out this is when they all pass down, as the one who wound up coming back in would be Krillin, who gave them each a sensu bean. They weren't exactly passed out, but they were on the ground, couldn't really move. Too much strain on the body. Each getting a sensu bean in training for a little while. Now they've got the form Super Saiyan 4, though Bulla is the only one who can't fully go into it. Granted, Goten will struggle, but he can go into it. Trunks, he struggles a little bit more than Goten, but he can go into it. Gohan, he's got the most ease into it because he's used to trying to control a beastly rage. Vegeta, he's got actually the easiest time doing it, since he's just used to using his Ozaru form like it's a joke to him. Super Saiyan 4 is like nothing to him. And with Goku, he's somewhat nicer, so he's somewhat able to do it more, but still struggles. Now, this is when they would talk to their fan. Now, note, Bulla has to wear clothes that can grow with her and shrink down with her as well. Goku they all have to wear the same kind of special gis. Gohan stating how his was actually the best for it, since it was both kind of a mix between Goku and Vegeta's, though with his own color scheme of green. And Goten noting, well, he just throws his shirt off before going into the form, since his pants are the only thing that stretches up to that. He has a regular ass t-shirt. That's it. Trunks noting his clothes were perfect for it, but he couldn't wield the sword anymore. This is when he thought, and his father showed him how to make a keyblade. And this started going perfectly with him. He uses a keyblade or his actual sword, depending on which form he's in. Though he found a way to combine ki with his regular sword to make it a ki sword, which is resembling the Rage Super Saiyan 2 of, well, future Trunks. Now, in this version, when Beerus tries coming at them to say something, the first thing that happens is Goku puts him in his fucking place. He goes to Goku, trying to say, oh, yada yada yada, trying to find a Super Saiyan God. I don't know anything about a Super Saiyan God. This is Super Saiyan 1, this is Super Saiyan 2. This is 3, as he looks with full power and rages out, going, this is 4. Wow, I'm impressed. Super Saiyan 4 seems the most similar, but not quite what I was expecting. Its power is quite great, though. This pushing, surprisingly enough, Beerus to 50% of his strength. Beerus even using everything he would usually have. He showed Goku 100% of his strength. Goku saying, what power? Noting he couldn't even come close to that unless he yelled something unexpected. Kaioken! Yelling Kaioken times 10. This putting him on a level strong enough to keep up with around 55% of Beerus' strength. I know some people are going to comment, Goku couldn't use that much percent of strength. From Beerus, it was only like 5, maybe 10 is Super Saiyan God. That's the thing. They're far more trained and have Super Saiyan 4. Admittingly, Goku just going into this, as this is when something scary would happen. It took an actual fist fight until Beerus knocked out Goku. But he didn't come out unscathed. He actually had blood coming out of the side of his mouth and had to wipe that shit off. Having Whis heal him, Goku eating a senzu bean, doing a little bit of sparring real quick, injuring himself and senzu bean, injuring himself and senzu bean. This got him to the point where he was a little bit stronger. Like now his Super Saiyan 4 didn't even need Kaioken to be on that level. But if he used Kaioken, it still would only get him around 60% of the Beerus' strength. And he wouldn't just be okay with that. He would need the help of Vegeta going into it as well. As this is when they still this is when King Kai would actually say, hey, Vegeta, wake the fuck up. Vegeta saying, oh, what? Not even being asleep, just wasn't listening. There's Beerus. He's coming to Earth. He just beat the shit out of Goku. Even Goku pulled out Kaioken and Super Saiyan 4. What? What power? What percent of power was he using? Roughly 55. Damn. Telling all the kids what's going on. They have 4 minutes until Beerus shows up. Hearing this, Goten smiling, saying, do I get to fight a god? No, Goten, you can't do this. You will die. I won't be killed so easily. I haven't even started a family with your daughter yet. Not the time, Goten, to talk about that. You know you have to defeat me before you can do that. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see, old man. Don't test me, boy. Anyway, Trunks, Goten, prepare to be able to... Prepare. You may need to use Go-Tanks. Wait, we may need to use Go-Tanks for this? Yes. As they call the Supreme Kais, and they Kai'd over. That's their version of instant transmission, far better. They get all the way over there and ask what's up, saying, we may need those earrings. What? You mean the fusion earrings? Yes. Beerus is coming, and he's the only one strong enough. Being that the Kais actually came because, you know, they were invited. Them going over to Vegeta saying, sure, if it's calls for it, we'll throw you our earrings. Good. Gohan, here. What the? Why'd you just give me a pair of earrings? Look, if need be, your father isn't here, we're going to need to fuse to fight this. They'll be in Go-Tanks, we'll be in... What even would the fusion between Vegeta and Goku be called? It can't be Vegito, it'd be Vegihan. Saying we'll have to become Vegihan to do this. Alright? Bulla's saying, what about me? What can I do? This is when they said, honey, you're going to be their last line of defense. If we're fucked over, you're going to have to protect everyone. Understood. Stay back with Android. So you're going to need to stay back with Android 18, okay? Then basically being the last line of defense, since Krillin said, I'll be on the front line, popping his neck ready to fight. Then you have Tien and Roshi saying, we got this. Surprisingly enough, Buu saying, as long as you don't mess with my food, he's safe. Kind of laughing how Boo's ready to fight. And this is when Dende would actually see Videl saying, is something wrong, Videl? A little bit. Since, well, they're not ready for what's about to have to fucking happen. And Goku, he teleports in there in his transmission instantly. He doesn't give a fuck. He's waiting, seeing what's happening. He sees a fusion between his best friend and son, his other friends fighting, as well as his son and his best friend's son fusing as well. This making it where they were all fighting against the peak of their abilities. They were doing as all they could, actually pushing Beerus to around 99% of his strength. Just enough where he's about to have to go into his Ultra Instinct bits to get this win. He thinks he may even need to, but he decides, no. And he actually took out all of them. Though this is when Vegeta, who is knocked out of fusion, says, we can't win. As this is when Beerus would stomp on Vegeta's face. Well, on his head, at least. Saying, you know, your father used to do this. As Bulma would actually walk up and slap the shit out of Beerus. Beerus turning his head saying, alright. Vegeta yelling, don't hurt her, hurt me, but don't hurt her. As he hears a slap. This is when you hear, you bastard, coming from two different areas. He sees Trunks roaring out saying, you attacked my mother. You will die where you stand. Terrifying Beerus just a little bit, saying, this kid's ready to kill me. Even though they were all in Super Saiyan 4 variations, this is when they saw something unexpected. Vegeta goes into Super Saiyan 4, doesn't say a single fucking word, enraged. He flies forward and starts beating the living shit out of Beerus. Beerus yelling, this won't be enough. Actually using his Ultra Instinct version, just Ultra Instinct Omen, since that's all he's got. Activating it so he can dodge these attacks from Vegeta, but still a few of them land. Just little bit by little bit. Even combining it with his Ultra Ego, which he is the only one who can use. Saying, damn, I'm getting my ass whooped out here. Yelling, Whis! Whis actually flying in saying, yes, my lord, help me. Since he sees something he wasn't expecting. Whis is seeing Vegeta beating the shit out of Beerus, though admittingly it's a close fight. But that's when Beerus tries choking out Vegeta with his tail, just for Vegeta's tail to hit Beerus right in the nose. Beerus saying, I'll eat the damn thing. Trying to just bite onto Vegeta, just for Vegeta to give him a knuckle sandwich. Then, he doesn't expect to see Trunks flying with a sword, trying to chop his ass in half. Like, it is straight up just rage from these two. As you hear, enough! In their full power, as they were about to throw a Hakai, which was actually sent away by a Ki Blast. A Kamehameha that sent the Hakai away. That was going to hit both of them. Seeing that Goten threw the Kamehameha, saying, hey, kitty cat, you want to come at them? Come on. Going into his own Super Saiyan 4, ready to throw hands. But instead, Goku appears saying, calm down. Bulma, we need to use the Dragon Balls. Bulma saying, alright, do it. That's how they can become Super Saiyan gods. They hear the legend. And Goku smiling, saying, oh, you are fucked. Beerus saying, oh shit, the Super Saiyan God? That actually would probably be a danger if that's how you do it. Goku with a smirk on his face saying, come here, come here, come here. Everyone gathers around. They don't even need Pan for this one. This is when they have an idea. They'll turn Goku and Vegeta into this. No, you can't. This is when turning Gohan maybe, since they have enough for 2. They decide just to turn Goku, and they don't think they'll need anyone else to be turning Super Saiyan God. That was the plan. But in this version, Goten did something unexpected. He gathered everyone else, saying, come on. But that's stupid. Look at my father. He's getting his ass whooped out there. Gohan, your ultimate 4 form may be needed. Gohan, who swore off using the damn thing, since that ultimate 4 form is all rage. It's just monstrous power that's never been stopped. Admittingly, it took everyone to stop him in his ultimate 4 form, which basically just combining his ultimate form with Super Saiyan 4. Its strength is comparable to Ultra Instinct Goku, Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku, or Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT, noting its strength is almost fucking unmatched, even comparable to Ultra Instinct in some ways. Sorry about that, guys, but like I was saying, yeah. So, that's when, surprise, surprise, Beerus was not prepared for this. Since he was actually beating Goku, he barely did it, and he's using his Ultra Instinct to do it. Right when Goku's about to hit the ground, and he's fighting back, going into Super Saiyan, Goten comes by saying, Dad, rest up, you're out of God form. Goku not even noticing or giving a damn, going into Super Saiyan 4, with a little bit of remnants of God form, Goten flying in at Super Saiyan God and starting to beat the living shit out of Beerus. Beerus yells, Whis, fucking help me! Whis saying, starting to laugh his ass off, saying, alright, I'll get everything to go. As he flies forward and actually starts stopping Goku. Because in Super Saiyan 4, Goku, with a little bit of God power, is beating the ass of Beerus. This is when Gohan uses his ultimate form, right now his ultimate form, being Super Saiyan 4 mixed with his ultimate form. His strongest power, beating the shit out of Beerus as well. Like, they were jumping Beerus. Beerus saying, like, help me, yelling this to Whis. Whis saying, alright, try and take on the strongest of which being Gohan. Goku being the second, and Goten being the third. Though this is when he notes that Gohan, his power is unrivaled. Yes, but it's also slightly weaker than himself. Whis actually having to use his own perfect Ultra Instinct so he can avoid getting his ass whooped. As this is when, at the end of the fight, they barely lost. Like, it was that besides. That was it. As they would collapse onto the ground, you would hear huffing and puffing from the might of the strength. This fight was not an easy one, as they're huffing like they're exhausted. Goten doing something no one would have really considered him to do. Goten proceeds to say, hey, Bulla, we're alive. Exhausted as shit, since he's still heavy breathing. As Beerus only destroyed a rock, saying, y'all did put me on my ass, and y'all gave me Super Saiyan God, so I think it was a worthy fight. Also, I need to figure out what the fuck that was. Gohan starting to smirk, saying that was Ultimate Super Saiyan 4. My own personal form that no one else can go into, and it's also strong enough consideration to be above that of a Super Saiyan God. Wait, really? What happened if you had Super Saiyan God under that form? Well, what I can guess is that it may be able to even go with Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan as well as Ultimate. And if I do that, then your title of God Destruction is ripped to shit because it was ranked. Wait, really? Yes. Alright. Whis, come here. We're going to eat. Though Whis and Bulma do keep in touch, Vegeta decides to go train over there, which kinda helps. He actually unlocks Super Saiyan God while training. He doesn't need anyone else's help. Trunks decides to stay on Earth and train with Goten. Goten and them training crazy good. Goku wound up going to Whis' planet a little bit later. And at this point, Goku and Vegeta and Goku actually have to discuss something. Their kids love each other. As in, the next Saiyan child after Pan has a chance, if Gohan has another kid with Videl, of being between Goten and Bulla. And if that happens, then Vegeta might go berserk. Because while he does appreciate that they are having a good relationship, if he finds out even Goten put a single hand on his daughter, was willing to do that, he is going to beat his ass. But Goten learning how to control Super Saiyan God, because he still does have to learn how to do that, he actually learned how to go back into it with, with Trunks and Gohan. Gohan even saying, sure, I'll use my ultimate power-up. Having to train with that versus a Super Saiyan God, able to go into it, and actually found a way to add Super Saiyan God with one extra boost in the hyperbolic time chamber. At this point, in the hyperbolic time chamber, they've been in there to the point where they're a few years older, so a little bit older, at least. In this version, we're going to do a 2-year time skip. 2 years. That's it. After these 2 years of sheer training, Goten learned how to put Super Saiyan 3 on top of God form, and at this point, training with a god, Trunks and Gohan have unlocked it as well. Though, admittingly, it's a struggle. It's a fucking struggle. Even going into God form is a struggle in itself. But going into God form, learning how to get God form as well as adding his ultimate form onto that one was the biggest struggle for him. Goku, who unlocked Super Saiyan 3 Blue, which is what he calls it, and eventually Vegeta doing the same, even getting Super Saiyan 4 Blue before Goku did, noting there were so many mortals in this universe that were stronger than the gods. Bulla, who's only got a little bit of strength since she's, unsurprisingly enough, hung out with Gohan when he's trying to master God form, which is just staying in it. So Gohan's having to stay in God form as often as possible, and because they're always hanging out, and he occasionally would lend her his strength for something by giving her his own ki, her at wondering what it's like, actually being able to go into her own God variation form. Even learning how to put Super Saiyan on top of that, being Super Saiyan Blue, noting it was just the color of her regular ass fucking hair. As this is when Gohan's saying, it's still beautiful. Making her blush a little bit, saying, well, let's keep training. She does train with them, but noting she's actually become the babysitter of Pan at this point. Who's not even surprisingly at this point, has the strength of her father. Pan is able to beat the actual fuck out of anyone she needs to. Like, it took Bulla and Goten to stop her on a rampage because she didn't get what she wanted. And her hair shot up, her tail unwrapped around her, and her fur started to come out saying, is this Super Saiyan 4? Is this a fucking baby going into Super Saiyan 4? Because now, she was born 2 years ago, she's 2, but she's a toddler beating their ass. After a few months would pass of this, that's when Resurrection F would happen. In this version, because so many are still on Earth that have kept their training up, and instead of going into, a god realm or anything, they're just using their own ki. And even the humans have god form, and even trained with the Kais to get their ultimate forms unlocked, evening them out with Super Saiyan 3, though their version of Ultimate God is difficult for them to stay into. Though, admittingly, the only one who can properly stay into it is Krillin, since he's just the most used to using it. I mean, Yamcha can go into it, but he's not as perfect with it, and Tien just says it's a bother to use for a long period of time. After a while, they turn these forms into their base. And their base strength right now, it's not even their base. They can just go into it and off of it at will. But in these forms, it puts them above Goku. It puts them above Vegeta. It puts them that high. But just barely. Vegeta, who isn't calm enough to use Ultra Instinct, Goku, who's more calm, so he's closer to using it. The the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament would now happen. In this version, deciding who would go would be difficult as shit, saying they wouldn't even need Manaka since they're always striving to be better. Even the kids are striving to become the strongest, and the parents are trying to keep themselves in the fight. So Manaka wouldn't even have to fake being that fucking powerful. Though, this is when they saw something they weren't expecting. Manaka was beating the ever-loving Test. Like, he was doing it like it was nothing. But then, Goten got a high score on that test. Trunks got a high score on that test. Vegeta and Goku did as well as Gohan, who had a meeting, but he was able to reschedule that shit. This is, the only 5 participants they would need, which was all Saiyans. The first one to go out there would be Goku. And Goku was just a damn good fight the whole way through. When he has to fight Frost, he's just overwhelmingly strong in his Super Saiyan 4 God form. He calls it Super Saiyan 4 God. And it's his strongest form by far, but it's so damn hard to keep in. This is when Hit was trying to outspeed him, just for him to get slapped away at every corner, saying, listen, to anyone normally, you'd be absolutely unstoppable. If it wasn't me, you'd be nothing. If it wasn't me being this powerful, you would have been a threat. Hell, if I only had Super Saiyan Blue, you'd be a threat. But thing is, you're against someone who every day fights for his fucking life. You've trained, yes, but you haven't trained every day till you collapse. You haven't done it. Fine. Hit using his full power time stop, barely being able to speed blitz Goku just for Goku to yell, alright, I see you're able to land a hit. Wiping his mouth, saying, now I'm going to use my full strength. Wait, that wasn't already your full strength? Powering up as hard as he could, yelling, Kaioken! This hitting the Kaioken times 20. Every step made the entire stadium shake. Even the planet they were on shook. The literal Grand Priest turned his head like, what the fuck is that? This was power above Whis. That's how strong this is. This is a power so high that it scares the living shit out of the gods. Every god of destruction felt this and was like, what the fuck is in Beerus' universe? That's not an angel. That's fucking terrifying. They're scared, thinking, did Beerus unlock a new form? This doesn't feel like him, but by all means, it's powerful enough to be. And in this version, Beerus is training. Like, he trains with them every day. And now Beerus is known as the the definition of the strongest god of destruction in history. He holds that title now. His strength putting him above every other god now, since he does nothing but train with Whis. And, he doesn't even sleep that much anymore. Champa, who actually tried cheating, Goku calling him out on his bullshit. This is when, surprisingly enough, Champa said, oh yeah, you want to go? Since he thought it was just bullshit and this was the whole team's power being poured into Goku. Thinking they put an area just for them two, he could probably take on this. Is this when Beerus said, brother, I hate to break it to you, but if you do fight against Son Goku, you will lose. Why would you say that, Beerus? You think I'll lose? That was their entire team strength put together, I bet. You'd bet and lose your money. What do you mean? That was him alone. You're kidding me. No, I'm not. And there are many other in my universe that are that powerful. What? This is when Gohan said, may I show you? Walking to the center of the ring, Goten doing it as well, all of them do, going to their ultimate form, their strongest form. Goten combines God with, 4. This putting him on the same level Goku was before this, which was already on the same level as Beerus. Gohan adding his ultimate form on that too, which basically puts him at the highest peak above even Kaioken Goku, saying, this is my strongest form. Kind of scaring Champa a little bit, since this was just too powerful. Vegeta going into his form, even showing hints of Ultra Ego on it, saying, as it was actually equivalent to Goku's. As it was the evolution version with a little hints of Ultra Ego. This is my strongest form. Keeping up with, Gohan a little bit. This is when Trunks would say, alright, cracking his neck, my turn. As he puts all his power into it, using all his power as well, even roaring out a little bit, saying, nah! Putting everything he has out to even out his team. Champa shitting himself, saying, what the fuck are you Saiyans made of? Kaba, who was actually threatened the same way by Goku as Vegeta did. Only unlocking Super Saiyan, though not being quite good enough. This is when they talked to Zeno about, training, about a whole tournament between the universes. And surprisingly enough, Goten playing with him like he was a regular-ass kid. So with Trunks and Bulla as well. Kind of surprising them saying, as even the Grand Priest would walk in saying, what the fuck was that? Goku saying, sorry, sir. That was us showing Champa here our full power. Your power is above that of the fucking angels. How the hell? Oh, Goku then shows his full strength with, like, Ultra Instinct Omen on as well. What? You're using that much power? It's even above what you were just using. By slightly, but still. Goku stating he can only stay in this form as he passed back out into regular base form, saying, only for a few seconds, but it's damn sure strong enough. Strong enough for what? Fighting the gods? I mean, technically no. What do you mean technically no? If I was fighting the gods, I wouldn't use that much power. Fair point, but still, that much power is enough to put you as a threat to the multiverse. Are you training to become an angel, a god of destruction? What are you trying to do? I want to be the strongest. Why? This is when Goku said something that kind of shook with all of it, that they kind of all understood. Simply put, I don't want my kids outpowering me just yet. Gohan saying, please, I'm the strongest by far here. I'm also the smartest. Bulla saying, excuse you? I'm literally taught by the smartest woman alive. This is when Whis would say, as well as I've trained both of you by a fucking angel. Beerus saying, we get it, y'all are all strong as shit. This is when Beerus shows his full power as well, stating he's the strongest god of destruction. Though he was still weaker. Not by much, but still weaker than that of by Jiren. Jiren at 100% would be at the same power, would be a little bit above Beerus. Not even by much, like only by a Kaioken times 2. Added on to what his already strength was. So it's literally not even by much, but he could still beat Beerus. As this is when they would decide on an actual date. They would actually decide on a date, but this is when they said there's a week until it happens. They need to find a group. Goten having an idea. There's a week. He should spend 2 days in the hyperbolic time chamber. Bulla deciding to go in there as well. Vegeta saying something. If you come out with a child, I am beating your ass. Understood? Yes, sir. And if she comes back pregnant, I'm beating your ass. Yes, sir. Good. Now, have a fun training session, and don't be weak when you come back out. Yada, 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 yada. Here it is. They come back out looking like this. Tattered, torn up clothing. Goten not even having a shirt anymore. Saying, Mr. Piccolo! Piccolo saying, what's up? Need new clothes. Giving a design that he's been looking at. Surprisingly enough, after their 2 years in there, saying, as they pop their necks, saying, it was pretty good. Trunks saying, oh, this is bullshit. Looking at both of them like, how y'all both look so much older? This is when Vegeta who chimes in saying, son, it's time I told you this truth about Saiyans. What? Once we hit the age of 15, we look like a grown fucking adult. And until we reach the age of 80, we look the exact same. So they're gonna look like, so am I going to be short? Gohan saying, you might be, I mean, look at your father. Gohan, don't test me. What are you gonna do? As he basically spikes his power up a little bit above Vegeta's. Vegeta saying, oh really? Spiking it to almost half of his own, saying, enough with y'all's contests. Hearing this from Gohan saying, and what, you're gonna show something above, what the fuck is that? He showed his base power, which was already above theirs. Them saying, huh? He shows his full power, stepping to the lookout and using his full force. It being above Gohan's even ultimate power added onto his full thing by far. This is when he stated he needs to learn a new ability, or at least somewhat try to find another form. As he stated, he found another form though. They were intrigued. What was it? He showed them as he powered up into a silver great ape form that was still the same size as his base form, saying, I call it Super Saiyan 5. Admittingly, it's hard to stack it on, but I can try. Goes into his he goes into Super Saiyan God, goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, and then his Super Saiyan 5 combined with God, noting even with the amount of power it takes, it's like trying to control a beast. Explain, trying to control a beast. This is when Bulla said, true, even I can't even come closer to it. What do you mean? As she shows her Super Saiyan 5, but even when she tries going on to it as well, she notes it's so much of a struggle she can barely even do it. She only can hold it for 10 seconds before hitting the ground, while Goten has been holding a full conversation in this form. Trunks and Gohan going in there together, coming out looking like fucking beasts. After 2 years. As Gohan has basically become the master of Trunks, teaching him a little bit more. They both hit Super Saiyan 5 and got on their power up, while Trunks found a new form he likes to call Hope. The form of Hope. They were confused, what do you mean? As he showed his full power, how there was a blue aura around his full power, as it was putting him above Gohan. Gohan stating, it's impressive, but it's not quite perfected. Vegeta saying, come on, Kakarot. They go in there, and when they're done training, you hear, they walk out after 2 years of this and say, with popping in their neck, saying, we're to our full powers. Showing their Super Saiyan 5 mixed with their ultimate power, even showing they can now go into Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct by themselves. And even showing that they can somewhat go into each other's form of Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct. Goku can somewhat go into Ultra Ego, and Vegeta can somewhat go into Ultra Instinct, being dead stalemate in that form. Goku even decided to work on his, training with a little bit more of all of it. Stating how they felt like they were invincible. They felt like they could take any attack and keep going. They felt immortal. Not expecting to feel immortal yet, at least not for a long time. This is when they decided, let's go. As they decided to use their full force. They're using it all. Once they come back, they look like this. Chi-Chi saying, Goten? What happened to you? You look like a grown man. This is when Goku kind of stated, Chi-Chi, you know how I haven't changed in look since I was 15 except for my amount of muscle? Yes. That's because when a Saiyan reaches 15, they look full grown. Wait, so at 15 you're basically fully aged up? Until we reach 80? Huh? So my entire family are gonna look like monsters? Yes, we are. Fine, I don't even care anymore. Gohan showing that his buffness has gotten way higher than what it was, and this is when Bulla showed her mother saying, I envy your youth, sweetie, but why? You look so much like me. This is when she stated she was like her, but with the ability of fighting with the guys. As this is when they decided on who they were going to have for the Tournament of Power. Obviously, Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, Goten, and Bulla, that being 6, they needed 4 more. But who could they choose? The humans? No, they need Mr. Piccolo, definitely. They got Piccolo on their team, that's 7. They need 3 more. They go around looking for the strongest, deciding on going with Tien, going with Krillin, and then finally debating 17 or 18. As they wind up deciding 17 since he's just ever so stronger. They all wind up deciding to go and train. All together now, they broke in as shit. They trained in the mountain for a few days. They wouldn't even need Frieza. Although, they did make a deal. Because this is when Tien would say, "Ow, I'm sorry, but I don't think I can join." Them saying, "Wait, but 18 can't join either. She's busy with taking care of her daughter. Who are we going to get?" Roshi was about to be able to join, but he felt like he couldn't keep up with the youngsters. Who should they get? This is when Goku had an idea. Come on, Frieza. Frieza saying, "What?" As Frieza's already got his golden form, and he's been training in hell, so they had an idea. They brought Frieza out saying, "What do you think?" Frieza's first impression was to punch Goku in the gut. And in this version, he actually just busted his hand. Goku saying, "Aw, did your hand slip?" "Oh no, mine did too." Punching Frieza, sending him flying in base. Frieza was in golden form when this happened. When this happens, like golden form and base. Frieza, who's in golden form, grabbed that Hakai and threw it back at Goku. Goku in base form is struggling against it. As he decided, fuck it, I'm using it everything. Has his eyes open with Super Saiyan only, and he just slapped it away like it was nothing, saying, "Listen here, you pathetic waste of space. If you ever attack me like that again, I will end you. And if you," entire pointing at the army, saying, "if you attack me again, this is sabotage, you dumbass. If you come at me again, or anyone on my team, I will show you why I can be called the most dangerous man alive." Them kind of shitting themselves, saying, yeah, they don't have an angel or god of destruction right next to them, so they're fucked up if they fight this, so, they out. They try escaping just for Frieza to kill them all. Goku saying, "Now that's done, let's go." When they actually step to the tournament, it is a whole different fight. Like, that is not even the same tournament. They decide they all have the strength to split up. It ain't even gonna fucking matter if they stay together or split up. No one's hanging with them except for that one guy wearing the cape. Not a cape, but like an entire, like, covering him, his entire body. And because Kale and Caulifla would still be recruited. And you know what's hilarious enough, though? This is not even the full strength of the team from Z. If they were allowed to bring everyone from their group, Z-Team would absolutely fucking dog walk them. If the Gods of Destruction were allowed to join in, it just wouldn't be fair. It already isn't fair, but still. This is when, surprisingly enough, Beerus would say something unexpected to the rest of the gods. He says, "Listen, even if you interfered and I didn't, it wouldn't matter. Explain yourself, Beerus. How would it not matter if we all interfered and you didn't? Everyone on my team, save for a handful, save for a few, are stronger than I am. Explain right fucking now. You see that android? He's not. You see that golden Frieza? He's not. Okay, that's 2. You see that human over there? He's not quite, but he's close. Huh? Yes, those 6 Saiyans, they are, obviously, and that's Namekian. He is. Huh? Wait, they're all that strong? This is when, surprisingly enough, you hear, "Don't worry, my group is able to keep up as well." Champa's laughing about this. Goku. This is when they said, "They've trained for 2 years. What do you mean? We have this thing called the hyperbolic time chamber." It's kind of like the pyramid of God, the angelic pyramid they use, okay? But it just has half what the time thing is. So, yeah, this is when he started laughing, because Hit and Kaba have been training in said time thing for 4 days. That equivalates to 8 years. Kaba looking around the same size as, well, Goten or Trunks right now. As Goten or Gohan, since they're around the same size. They look eye to eye with each other. Gohan saying, this kid looks like a runt. Yeah, we'll save him. Vegeta winding up by getting the kid, Goku getting him, saying, you know what? I got an idea. They just say, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, who wants to fight this? They decide each of them are going to take on a different fucking universe. This is when they see Hit getting jumped by Dispo and Topo, as well as another person from the Pride Troopers. Seeing this, Goku is the one who steps in, pimp slapping them all backwards, saying, back the fuck up. Don't you fucking dare jump a motherfucker, or else you're answering to me. Topo is starting to laugh, going into his full power form, saying, what are you gonna do? Goku's been in base this whole time, saying, alright. Going into his ultimate form, even with the Ultra Instinct on top of it, his training for 2 years, he's now almost perfected it. Every step he takes makes even... Then Jiren's basically shitting himself, going at full power against Goku. They have to literally jump him with the entire Pride Trooper team, with Goku. But they're not allowed to jump him because Hit just got saved by Goku, so he's going to help Goku. And this is when Gohan would appear and take out Dispo like it was a joke. Frieza noting he could barely take out a single universe's team. And so could Krillin and even Android 17. They all could only barely take out a single universe. This is when they also note that Piccolo was absolutely dog-walking another universe. Another universe's team. They see how this just isn't a fair fight. The only one who can even keep up with them is, well, Jiren. And Jiren's pushing his limits. He's fighting with these struggles. He even yells, enough! Roaring out at full power, strengthening himself to the point where he's actually above that of Goku. Goku, not letting this take him down, uses his full power and barely, just barely, beats him. Huffing and puffing like this was exhausting to him, stating that he's taken out at least one of the biggest threats. But noting it took him, Gohan, and, and one of the strongest from Universe 6. Surprisingly enough, Kale and Caulifla tried jumping Goku after this point. That did not work, since while Hit was actually about to go against Vegeta, Kaba and Hit were going against Vegeta on an even scale, 2v1. While those two fused with Potara, Goku is actually saying, without my full strength, I can't win this. I'll have to use Super Saiyan 1. Them saying, are you insulting us? Since Goku actually showed all the way up to his full power form to Kaba. Kaba has Super Saiyan 4. He unlocked a tail after a bit of training. Even then, showing his full power. Putting it above that. Even overwhelming that of everyone else. Scaring them. Kaba even showing that when he's been training, he learned something good. He trained with the gods, almost unlocking a Super Saiyan 4 type form, with the God Key as well, saying, this is gonna fight evenly with you, Master. Seeing as Vegeta still gave him a lot of pointers on how to properly fight like a Saiyan. As this is when, to no one's surprise, Goku is actually kind of laughing his ass off, saying, "Aww," as right in the middle of the battle, fighting two different universes, jumping them. Surprisingly enough, everyone turns their head to see this kissing on the fight, in the middle of a fight. They see Bulla and Goten kissing, just like in, well, a picture near here. I don't remember which one it was, but I'm gonna say it's like this, but in this bodies. Vegeta making the wind howl around him, using his full power, making an entire universe appear, like an entire galaxy appear underneath his power. Goku starting to laugh his ass off, saying, "Oh shit!" And he actually had to jump in, stopping Vegeta from killing his son for the amount of power he's showing. Goten is laughing his ass off. Bulla saying, "Don't hurt him, Dad," as she jumps in the way and actually blocks off Vegeta, with Goku and Gohan holding Vegeta back. This is when they decide the only way to stop Vegeta from killing from fighting at Goten with full power and messing up their chances of victory, since they only have a few more people left, they decide to absolutely full power sling Vegeta off. Vegeta caught on and kept fighting. Goten then saying, if we win this, what the plan is, if we've won this, then you'll get a fight against me. But remember what you said, if I could beat you, I get your daughter. Yes, and you still haven't done that, boy. We'll see. Kaba looking at the saying, did he really just ignore us to go beat the shit out of one of his own teammates for kissing his daughter? Man, that was just stupid, man. You're an idiot. Not quite. And I mean, I know I said it was 15 for them to, show their full adult form. But, yeah. For women, it's 14. For men, it's 15 in Saiyan race. That's why they both look adulted. They both look like adults. As this is when they get back, they decide they've had a great bit of fun. This is when Gamma, a little bit later after the Moreau arc, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 would try taking out Vegeta, try taking out Gohan for what he did to Cell. Gohan basically just saying, who the fuck are you? And even Pan beating their ass. Pan, we're going to do a time skip to when GT would actually happen. At this point, Goku holds the title of strongest in the multiverse who isn't among the top 4. That being the 2 Zeno's guards, and as well as, the Grand Priest and Zeno himself. It's those 4. I mean, there was the Goku arc, but they would just beat their ass too bad, and they would still get the other Zeno. So technically, yeah, there's 4 guards, 2 Zenos, and 1 Grand Priest. Though all 4 of the guards kind of understand each other, and the 2 Zenos kind of get each other pretty well too. Though, being only 1 Grand Priest, he's basically dealing with 2 children, and Goku a lot of the time hangs out with them, and they decide, Goku, would you like to become a god? Goku talking to Chi-Chi about it and saying, should I, honey? Yes, you should, Goku. It fits you. This one Goku said, I'll stay. I'll come back to you for every few times in the underworld to speak with you again, Chi-Chi. I'll see you in heaven. Of course, Goku. As he would decide to take up where, Toppo was going to... They basically all become gods of destruction. Though the one female god of destruction wound up passing it to the only female Saiyan of that power. Noting the strength that Bulla had and the love she showed during the battle, she was fine losing her title of god of destruction to that powerful of a creature, to that powerful of a girl. As this is when, surprisingly enough, Goten, who would become the god of destruction for Universe 7. Universe 6 being got hit by Gohan. Trunks going... They all end up getting a universe, every one of them. And even those 3 humans would wind up getting their own universe. Which ones y'all want to go with, I don't fucking care, other than the ones I already stated. So yeah. And if you're saying, oh, they don't have enough, since, there's only 3 humans, 6 Saiyans, and there's 12 universes. Well, 3 humans and 6 Saiyans, that's only 9. That means there's 3 left. Those spots would be determined by who would get them. Surprisingly enough, getting Angel Grade Patata, and it deciding that Kefla would become God Destruction for another universe, who, in Angel Grade Patara, like Vegeta, it won't unfuse. Even if they do unfuse, they basically share the title of God Destruction, and they just go back into their fusion when they need to. But they share that title of their God Destruction. Hit becomes God Destruction to another universe, and he's basically an untouchable guy, since he's now training with them every day. And the final one being Kaba, his power actually overwhelming that of most others, and being seen as the strongest of the gods of destruction without any added benefits. As in, without any transformation, Kaba's technically the strongest, but with all the added benefits, he was basically the weakest. Though he did stack over Hit and over Kefla with his own power, as this is how the series ends. Goku every few days would visit Chi-Chi in heaven until she would be reincarnated. He would make up with his brother. He would decide to meet his father and mother. Now, when he actually decided this, he said, "Hello." Bardock saying, "Holy shit," looking at each other like they were damn near mirrored. This is when Gine would actually start hugging her boys, her husband, her two sons, saying, "What are you now? I'm God of Destruction." "You're a god?" Yes, showing them each the power-up form, saying, "Wow, I'm impressed, my son." Okay, this is when saying, "Oh, by the way, you should meet your nephews." Oh, and technically now, granddaughter. Well, grandniece. And y'all should meet y'all's, well, great-grandchildren. Huh? This is, as basically even the Vegeta team, Vegeta's family would meet them, meeting all of them in the underworld, saying, "Hello." Vegeta looking to his father, saying, "Pathetic. Well, I'm no longer the king of Saiyans," stated Vegeta himself to his father. "What? You're not the king of Saiyans? Who is? It better be your son." "No, it's my son-in-law." "Who took the title of king?" This is when he introduced his son, saying he's got purple hair. What Saiyan has that? He mixed with an Earthling. "Oh, great, so he must be pathetic." Trunks showing his full power, saying, "Old man, I could rip you apart with a blink. A fucking blink. Now don't threaten me." Now, would you like to meet your great-grandchild? Both Bardock and the king meeting their great-grandchild. It being a young boy by the name of Goku. Actually not Goku. I'm going to say that they went with the name... They actually decided to name it Gogeta. And because of this, I was a little proud, saying, "What the fuck? Yes, this is Gogeta." Gogeta is his name. Wait, so this is my granddaughter and her husband. As this is when Vegeta would state, "He's the king of Saiyans also." Huh? He is. Why is he the king of Saiyans? Tell me, what, were you too weak? Actually, his strength overwhelmed my own when he decided to marry my daughter. I made him a deal. If he could defeat me, who was current king of Saiyans, he would have the title King of Saiyans. And that's what he got. He became King of Saiyans after defeating Vegeta in a 1v1. But after doing that and marrying Bulla, they have a godly child, who is actually a god of who winds up choosing to take the title of God of Destruction as Goku retired. And Pan, who took it when Vegeta retired. This is what happened as they finally left. In a final goodbye, they had their fun. But now they were still technically immortal. Well, they actually chose to go to the underworld and reincarnate and all that shit. And that's basically how the series would end. A final goodbye, since they were at the point where they were stronger than Zeno. And I know the 12 gods of destruction aren't supposed to be stronger than Zeno, but they've done nothing but training for hundreds upon hundreds of years. They're that powerful. And that's basically it. That's what if Goten was a fighting maniac.